The adult age is um mm, like for example, like in in when we talk about the adult age, usually we're talking about like a drinking age or the voting. When you can when you can start to vote, um, or maybe you can start to make contracts and stuff like that, or you can get married or something. That's the adult age, and pretty much every country has different like ages and stuff, you know. But I think because of the culture, because of the maturity of the people in every country might be a little different from each other and all the stuff. Yeah, and typically in Japan, the adult age was how can I put it here? Like unified into like just one age, which was 20 years old. It was 20 years old, and for example, like in Japan, we had to be 20 years old to be able to drink, to be able to smoke, to be able to make contracts, to to be able to um I don't know, all the stuff about getting married. It was different. Um, in Japan, like women had to be 16 years old, quite young actually, and men had to be 18 years old. Yeah. Uh, but aside from those, you pretty much had to be 20 years old to do pretty much uh, uh, you know to get to smoke, drink, vote, make contracts and stuff like that. Yeah. But now um, they changed this law for the first time in 140 years. That actually they lower the age of the of the being adult. And yeah, they changed it for the first time in 140 years. And now in Japan you need to be 18 years old. Yeah, but not for everything. Yeah. But first of all, like I'm going to talk about like what you can do after you turn 18 years old. Um, First of all, like after you turn 18 years old, now, yeah, now after you turn 18 years old, you can actually make contracts. Yeah. For example, you can get the loan to buy things. For example, if you want to buy a car or if you want to buy a house, and you can, if you after you turn 18 years old, and you can do that. Yeah, typically that, and you can you are able to vote. Yeah, um, and you can give and the actually the marriage age, the age that you can get married, uh, you can get married at. Um, Women had to be women could get married after they turn 16 years old, but now they have to be 18 to get married, and men stay the same, 18. But when it comes to, for example, drinking, smoking cigarettes or gambling, for example, in Japan, like we have like derby and cycling. How do you call that thing? I forgot. Or like car racing and stuff like that. They those gambling thing. You have to be 20 years old to do that, and and you still have to be 20 years old. Yeah. So I don't know why it's maybe they're gonna lower the age one of these days. I'm not sure, but at this moment, maybe for the health reason, I don't know. But you need to be 18 years, you need to be 20 years old to be able to drink and smoke and gamble. The reason I'm talking about this is because um um how do you call this, like the the literal translation of this disorder is called uh, gender unification disorder or something, which means like you're not sure that you're a man or woman. Yeah. And or like maybe you're a man, you're born as a man, but you actually are a woman inside or something, kind of like a, usually people say gay or homo or whatever. I'm not sure. Yeah, there are all types. I hear. Yeah, I don't. I'm not an expert on this one here, but I'm not sure. But anyway, those gender unification disorder people, like a gay or lesbian, um, or like you're born as a woman, but you have a man's heart or something. Um, uh, at the age of 18, you can go to the public office like a city hall or whatever, and you can actually change your gender. You can actually change your sex. Yeah. um or like you can, yeah. Yeah, you can actually apply for it actually. Yeah, this kind of bothered me a little bit though, because 18 years old is very young. And what I heard is oftentimes when they are not, because they are born as an often now this I hear lots of stories about like how people change their sexes and stuff, but oftentimes they want to go back to the sex that they used to have. um for example, like I'm a man, but let's say like I have a woman's heart, and I want to be a woman, and I'm 18 years old, and I'm very young, and I feel like a woman. I want to be a woman. And if I become a woman, but after that I become much late while later, um I want to be a man again because I feel like a man. This happens a lot. This actually happens a lot to the people who have this kind of disorder. Yeah. um so 18 years old is too young to make the kind of uh 18 years old is too, in my opinion, too young to make the kind of decision. Yeah, too immature. Because if you look at 18 years old, when you're looking back and when you're 18 years old, and I think you're very young for that. Yeah, that's the opinion I had, and that's the reason I'm talking about it. Yeah. So the adult, that's about the adult age changing, the adult age being changed in Japan. Yeah. Um, about the contracts and stuff, this still worries me because I still have young children in my family, and I want them to. I don't want them to make the kind of contracts with the other people and stuff, and they have to make their, you know, I don't know. It scares me a little bit, actually. That's, to be honest. Yeah. Of course, I mean, um, of course, like for example, like in OECD, kind of like a major country, the major countries, I think there are about like 40 countries or something. Amongst the OECD, Japan and New Zealand are the only countries that had the adult age of 20. Yeah. So, and all the other countries, probably if you're from the UK and UK too, and US, I don't know, like lots of other countries in Europe and some countries in Asia, they can't that they no no I mean their adult age is 18. Yeah. So Japan is one of the very few countries that stayed at the age 20 and stuff. Good morning, Mr. Yazawa. How are you? So that's what I have been talking about. Yeah. Anyway, so Japan and New Zealand are the only countries that had the adult age of 20, and Japan actually left the position. So now I think I'm assuming that New Zealand is the only country uh, that has the adult age of 18, and I mean 20. They don't have to change it. Who cares? Who cares what other countries do? To be honest. History between Japan and the UK. Yeah. Um. Um. Now I don't have a book in front of me right now. I'm just looking at the screens and speaking about it, and I'm going to talk about the history between Japan and UK based on what I have studied and based on what I have in my head actually. Yeah. The history. Now the first Englishman who came to Japan was called William Adams. It was the year 1600. William Adams. He was drifted, and actually he was one of the sailors, or he was one of the explorers who was traveling in Asia, looking for basically they are looking for countries to trade with. Yeah, and but he was the first Englishman who came to Japan. Yeah, and actually, like after he came to Japan, and um, he became he settled down in Japan actually. Yeah, and um he because he was a sailor and he knew a lot about sailing, like navigation and stuff. Yeah, and he had all the skills and stuff. I'm sorry, just a second. Can you please close the door? Too much noise from there. Yeah, but he was um yeah um the Adams yeah Adams um he was hired as a navigator or like a sailor, or he could, or maybe shipbuilder too, actually. Yeah, and he settled down in Japan, and he was helping Japanese people build ships and stuff. Yeah, and he got the Japanese name. He actually changed his name from William Adams to Miura Anjin. That was his new name. Miura Anjin. Miura Anjin. Miura is the family name, and Anjin is the last name. And I think he married a Japanese woman. I have never heard of this man. Yeah, well, now you know. Yeah, very interesting history, I think. Yeah. Anyway, so he was hired as a shipbuilder and a navigator and stuff. But about 10 years after that, Japan decided to close down our country. Yeah. So there was much use for building ships and stuff anymore. So uh, he basically he lost his job, and but he was still in Japan, and I think he died here. Yeah, he wasn't killed or anything, but he was just you wasn't so welcome anymore. Yeah, to be honest. Yeah. So that was the first Englishman who came to Japan, and he became a he was doing pretty good. He was doing pretty good for maybe about 15 years or something. Yeah. So that was the first Englishman. Yeah. Are you going to school today? Oh. Anyway, so that was that. Yeah, and um, maybe I'm going to. There's a lot to talk about. Actually, we had UK and Japan had a lot of history. We had a lot of history, yeah, and there's just so much to talk about. There's just so much to talk about, but I think I'm going to keep it for later. Yeah. How many times have you been to Europe? I don't know because I was a flight attendant, so I went there many times. Yeah. Um, UK, about maybe 5 or 6 times. France, I don't know. France, to be honest, I don't know because I had to go there like every month, couple times a month sometimes. Mm. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, Japan, UK were good friends, and we are enemies and foes. I mean that. How do you call it? Friends and foes. It's like all time, all time. Yeah, we have been friends and foes. We have been friends and foes. Whatever. Yeah, but I think that makes our history very very interesting, and that those things made our countries stronger. Yeah. I thought that the most interesting um part was the first Englishman who came to Japan. I had to talk about that. Yeah, it's easy to remember. When he came to Japan because it was exactly the year 1600. So anyway, okay, let's move on. Chris and Sally does streams with Mark and Laura in the book club. Oh, is that right? Book club. What is book club? You talk about books or something? I, I, I imagine like to me the book club is like you read a book and actually that for example like you and I read the same book. Yeah, you and I read the same book and we talk about the books and we give opinions on the book and stuff. That's a book club to me. Sticky bacon, book reviews, right. Yeah. Oh, and Sally, we review a book by a nationalist publisher or author at the end of every month. Every month. Wow, that's a lot of work. Holy. Exactly, my friend. Oh, is that right? Oh, okay. Okay, so that's exactly. I said we don't really have something like that in Japan. Not many Japanese people do. But when I was back in the U.S., I heard like some people in the U.S. like to do something like that. Yeah. Mm. Really? Okay. So when was that? Not when that. Uh, what kind of book did you read last time you guys were together? Okay, Bacon. Books which are not liked by society. Oswald, Mosley, etc. I'm not sure. Oswald Mosley. I don't. It sounds like a name of a person, but I'm not sure. Um, okay, I'm looking at what kind of person this what kind of person this person is. Um, Sir Oswald er, Ernald Mosley. Um, oh ho ho. He became disillusioned with mainstream politics, drifted towards fascism, and became the founder and leader of British Union. Oh, I see. Uh, according to Wikipedia, which is a bunch of bullshit anyway. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like Wikipedia talks shit about lots of people. They talk about some of my friends in Japan. Friends were like my seniors in a crowd, and they really make up some bullshit. I don't know how this works actually, but Mosley was imprisoned in May 1940. Oh, okay. So he's a person in the old time, like 100 years ago or something. He was released in 1943. I see. So he is considered fascist. Oh, interesting. Oh, I want to read the book. Yes, you know who funds Wikipedia, right? Yeah. Actually, I don't know. Jews and Chinese or something. Try from Judea. Oh. That's the name of the book, you mean? Oswald Bacon. Oswald Mosley was probably England's finest politician. Really? Okay. Uh, Street Bacon, Ochiai, his speeches are on Whitey to listen to. Whitey. Actually, I don't know what the Whitey means, but yeah, I we have reviewed books like the Transgender Industrial Complex. Oh, that sounds very sickening, to be honest. Transgender Industrial Complex. Oh yeah, that doesn't sound like a very productive industry to me. I don't know, but also books by Greg Johnson and David Duke. Many books now. Oh, really? Yeah, Jews and Chinese. Yeah, they do a lot of shit. Yeah, yeah. Bacon. But you know what? Um, I don't know a lot about. I don't know a lot about the Jewish influence. I'm sure it's. I well um when I was back in the U.S., I knew I was it was always a big thing about talk. It was always a big thing about like talking about um the Jewish people and stuff. Because I know that there are lots of Jewish people in Japan. You don't really see any Jews, so I kind of forgot like what kind of influence they had and stuff. But when it comes to Chinese and stuff, I know one thing about Chinese. It was Japan's fault that China became so big and Chinese now have so much money. Yeah. Because China, because Japan, along with the U.S. and UK, Germany, and maybe France, maybe Italy, these countries, our countries invested so much money into China, and we made China rich. Yeah, and now the rich Chinese came back to us, and they started to buy lots of things. Countries like a land, um, lots and the Wikipedia, whatever, YouTube and stuff. Like, uh, so it was, you know, in my opinion, it was Japan's fault, along with other developed countries. Um, it was our fault that we made China so strong, and because China like to censor people, right? Yeah, they don't really have freedom in their country again, because they like to censor. They consider pretty much everything as hate speech. Yeah, if we say anything against Chinese, or if we say anything against Jewish people, and then it's considered hate speech, right? Yeah, and it was our fault that we made those people rich because we invested because it was cheap. We thought it was cheap to invest, and for some reason, like we thought that China China could be trusted. You know, it's baseless basically because we didn't know anything about Chinese, but we invested so much in China. Yeah, because for some reason, we thought that Chinese are intelligent, Chinese are sincere, you know, Chinese are honest or whatever, and we invested so much money, and they became rich, and they started to buy up everything in the world, YouTube, Wikipedia, etc., etc., along with the Jews. Yeah. So it was our fault that we made them rich, actually. Yeah. True, Tokyo has Muslim mayor and Muslim area. I don't know about the Muslim mayor, but we have a Muslim area. Yes. I don't. I don't think we have Muslim mayor though. Yeah. Um. mm, it was the first. Um. It was the very first book we did. Streak Big. Oh, okay. Sorry. I need to go back. Let's see. Okay, here. Streaky Bacon. Okay, that book looks crazy. The transgender one. I heard about it, but I have never seen your review. Right. And Ansali says the transgender industrial complex was a very detailed book which described how this trans agenda has been funded and by who. It was nearly 600 pages long. Oh, is that right? That's a very detailed book, right? And Bacon. Oh, Toby, how you doing? Toby Radley. Yeah, konnichiwa. Hi. You guys speak some Japanese here, huh? I think it is a female mayoress. Ah, okay, I know who you're talking about. She is not Muslim, but she went to school in Egypt. Yeah. How did you know about that? That's pretty good actually. Yeah. I forgot. She lived in Egypt for 5 years or something. She was going to college in Cairo. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, and I think she used to be considered as a fascist, like a very strong woman, strong, independent, um, very strong politician and stuff. But actually, after she became a mayor and she is not that strong anymore, she became very soft. But yeah, she lived. Yeah, she did live in. Yeah, she is a mayor. She still is a mayor of Tokyo, and she used to live in Egypt, but she's not Muslim. I think she's a. I think maybe she's a Christian. I don't know, but she's not Muslim though. Yeah, but she speaks. She says she speaks. Um, how do you call this? Arabic. She was there for like 5 years or something. She was going to college, and actually she was married. I think she was. Well, she married she married a Japanese man who lived in Egypt or something. Kind of surprising me because I don't know how many Japanese are living in Egypt, and those two met and they got married and stuff. Yeah, yeah, but I think she speaks Arabic. Yeah, true, true. Yeah, I forgot about that. Right, it's pretty good. And Bacon, do you still work in air travel, Ochiai? No, not anymore. I, I'm in the education industry. Yeah, yeah. I work at this help school. Like after school, kids go to kids go to like small places to get the extra help and stuff. Yeah, I work at the kind of place. Yeah, yeah. I teach different subjects and stuff. I There are some kids who want to get the extra help, on their math or Japanese, English, social studies, science, and stuff. Yeah, and um, I don't know if you have that kind of thing in your countries. I know there are some in the U.S. and Canada and stuff, but I don't know if you have the same in the UK or other places in Europe. Yeah, It sounds a rewarding job. Yeah, yeah. I wish. It's okay. I have been in this industry for like almost actually more than 20 years. Yeah, and I'm ready to leave this industry anytime actually. But at this moment, I still need a job, so I'm still on the job actually. Yeah. Thank you for your kind comment, though. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sick of it actually. Yeah, I'm ready to leave. Yeah. Whatever. Yeah. Aunt Sally. It was the very first book we did. It was the very first book we did. I would listen to the review first. It is a very hard read and lots of facts and figures. Not that enjoyable, but a good book for naming and shaming. Naming and shaming, right? Yeah. Transgender. What was that? The transgender industrial complex. I see. Can you name um, other books that you guys have read? Uh, and Sally, and Sally, as an educator of children, do you see an agenda similar to the one that our children are being subject to? Actually, you know what? Kind of, because we still have leftists in the education industry. Yeah, and there have been lots of struggles and stuff. And actually, the most recent struggle that we have we have experienced is or actually happened at the school that my kids go to. Yeah, it really made me angry actually. Yeah. Um, it was all written in Japanese, of course, but actually the how do you call it? The um, okay, well, let me explain to you what happened. I try to make it brief, okay? Um, um, Now, my daughter is now 14 years old, and she goes to junior high school, and teachers gave out this flyer, yeah, which says that uh, it was the Communist Party and Socialist Party, and this some kind of human rights group that made our textbooks free. Yeah, because in Japan, like probably in the UK too, school textbooks are free, right? Yeah, it was given, and um, there was a lot. And according to the paper, there was a lot of social struggles and social campaigns done by the Communist Party and the Socialist Party and this human rights group that is pretty much run by the mafia and stuff. But those three, uh, you know, parties or those three groups made 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 a thing possible. They made the school textbooks free and stuff, and we should appreciate that. Mm. That's what the paper said, and that made me angry actually. Yeah, but my kids go there, so it was difficult to complain to those my kids go to that school, and actually I have some relatives who work as a public servants and stuff, and it was kind of difficult for me to complain to them. So what I did was I asked the other guys in our crowd to to call them and try to um complaints I asked them to complain to those places, and I'm assuming like I and I talked to a few of them, and they spread it on Twitter and Facebook and stuff. And I think a couple hundred people actually called the school, and the school apologized to those people, our guys, and um um they did that, but they still say that they this is a very important fight actually, because because actually those this communist, this leftist is, you know how do you call it, publicizing the communist party or communism and stuff at school directly, straightforward. And it is illegal, of course it is illegal. And so one of our guys actually, his name is Nishimura Hitoshi. He actually uh told he actually asked the school, or like not the school actually, he actually asked um, the board of education whether it is illegal or not, whether they think it is illegal or not. And the board of education said they don't think it is illegal. They don't think it is illegal. So we may sue the board of education. Yeah, we may sue the board of education. And it is important because um, um, how can I put it here? Actually, this is one of the topics that I was going to talk about today. Um, how we fight. I think I put in the description here. How we fight. This is how we fight. We try to use as much of that we could um, when we fight them. Yeah, violence, because violence is the most effective way to fight your enemies. Mhm. And yeah, um, it is how do you call it? And we have to use that. We have to use violence as much as possible, because people are afraid of violence. Anybody, leftist, rightist, politicians, whoever, public offices, and there are many forms of violence. Now, Sticky Bacon, you're asking a very good question. Do you fight these people physically, Ochiai? Sometimes, yeah, but physical fight is not the only way to commit violence. Yeah. There are many different forms of violence. Um, and for example, um, now, okay, let's put it this way: violence is okay. Now, the right of violence is given to very few people in the civilized society. Yeah. For example, police officers. Police officers are one of police officers are the one of the peoples who actually can grab you and take you. And judges, they have the right of violence, because they can give you death sentence in Japan, or they can put you in prison. That's a form of violence. Yeah. And very in the civilized society, in a civilized society, very few people are given the right of violence, because the because the violence because the violence is effective. So most of us don't have a right to commit violence. Yeah, which means that which really means that violence is effective. Mm. So now what do we do? We can actually um, in the civilized society, and if you punch somebody or whatever, if you even grab somebody, and you can be arrested for that, and you can lose your job, you can lose your whatever money, and sometimes you're put in prison and stuff, right? Yeah. So we don't do that. So instead, as one form of violence, we use the police, and we use the court. We use the court. We sue people. Mm. as a form of violence, and you have to actually know that when you're using the police, you're actually committing violence. Yeah, yeah, you have. That's my opinion, and that's how we look at it. Yeah, me and my people in our crowd, actually, we hey, good morning. So anyway, um, but everything. So you have to. You, in my opinion, you have to be conscious when you're using violence, because violence is dangerous, and you can actually make some. You can make some enemies who will hate you. Okay, now the way I look at it is, um, every time you're reporting something to the police, or you're suing somebody, or like whatever, if you're doing those things, so many other things, yeah, actually you are committing violence, because you are asking somebody who allowed to commit violence to do something instead of you, do something that you cannot do, yeah, legally, yeah, which means that you are committing violence. You're committing violence indirectly, yeah. That's how dangerous it could be, because you can, um that's the way I look at it. So I don't usually, when I talk to, like, normal people, I don't talk about the police, I don't talk about suing people, I don't talk about lawsuits, I don't talk about those things, because actually you are committing violence, because you're asking somebody who are allowed to commit violence to do your job, to do the job for you. But on the other hand, when you're fighting communists, or when you're fighting the leftist, whatever, you have to use violence. Yeah, pretty much every time. That includes suing people, mm, reporting to the police, or like you simply yell at those people, you curse at people, you insult those people. Those things of, um you know those things are how do you call it, violent. Yeah, you curse at people, and that's what we do when we have the street campaign and stuff, and I try to insult. I try to look at their appearances when I look at when we're doing a campaign, and if a woman comes, and she if she tries to disturb our campaign and stuff, I talk about her appearance, and they get very upset. But it's her fault, because I didn't ask her to come. Yeah, I wanted to. I'm on the street and talking to the public, because I want to talk to the public. I didn't want to talk to the communist. I wanted to talk. I wanted to talk to. I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk to. Can't fucking talk. Excuse my language. I wanted to talk to the public. Yeah, not to the stupid communists, right? But if this communist woman comes to me and tries to disturb our rally, try to if she tries to disturb our speeches, and then um I talk about her appearance. If she is fat, I talk about how, what kind what kind of how she looks and stuff, like her face. I talk about her face. I talk about her dress. I talk about her bag that she's carrying, and stuff like that. Same as a man, but when I do that, oftentimes she will never show up again, because she her feeling is hurt, and she's very sad, and maybe she's depressed for like 1 week or something. Yeah, because she was called a pig, and whatever, monster and stuff like that, right? So she cannot recover for like a week or something, and maybe she will never show up again. And often that happens often. So every time I started to, when I was when I do a speech, and sometimes I see the same people, but when they see my face and they disappear, they don't want to be there, because they know that I'm going to talk about them. So there is going to be less disturbance, and I can talk to the public, you know, in their civilized way. I can talk about the immigration, I can talk about the economy, I can talk about the salaries, I can talk about taxes. You know, that's what I wanted to talk about. But if this communist shows up and he or she tries to disturb our rally and stuff, and I have to attack them and I have to crush them first, yeah, and I need to use some form of violence. But sometimes, of course, I mean, they really come and they try to grab me and stuff, and then I need to. Uh, I don't beat the shit out of them, you know. I want to, but I don't beat the shit out of them, but I um I push them back or something, whatever. Yeah, because you, usually there are police officers around them. So before they grab me or before I hit them back or something, and you know, and usually the police comes between us and break up the fight and stuff. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. Yeah. So anyway, that's what. Yeah, that's what I really wanted to talk about today, actually. Yeah, but we need to use some kind of. That's what I really want to insist. It is very important. So, and there's another point of view here, actually. Some people say that, for example, in Japan and maybe in your country, I don't know, but if we do this, that can give the public the bad impression. That can give bad impression to other people, newcomers or whatever, possible can possible, I don't know, like a member as well, candidates and stuff. Yeah, as long as, now in my opinion, as long as you say something like that, you will lose your fight. Yeah, if you're worried, in my opinion, if you're worried about the impression that you may give to the newcomers, and you will lose your fight because the enemy is in front of you. You have to fight your way through first. Yeah. And again, violence is important. And of course, violence is very attractive to many people. People like to watch boxing. People like to see you fight on the street sometimes. Yeah. Which means that the um if you're fighting hard, and if you're actually, for example, like when I if this communist shows up in it, he or she tries to disturb my speech and stuff, and when I insult those people, when I talk about their appearances, when I talk about I make when I make fun of those people and stuff, and then some people enjoy seeing me do that, because violence, this is violence, insulting is violence, and oftentimes violence is attractive. Yeah, that's, I'm just talking about the facts. I'm not talking about any beauty of life. I am not talking about the beauty of life. I'm talking about the real political activities, and what people how people feel about certain things. Yeah. And um as long as, if you keep saying that will give the bad impression to the newcomers or whatever, and you're gonna lose your fight. Yeah, you're gonna lose your fight. That means the communists will keep coming in, and the immigrants will keep coming in. That's what's gonna happen if you keep saying, like, that can give bad impression and stuff. Yeah, so you should never worry about the newcomers, or I mean you should never worry about the impression, what kind of impression you might give to the newcomers and stuff. Don't worry about them. That's what I would say. Yeah. And people in our crowd, there are some people who say stuff like, you know if you insult them, people here, and they just cut that part and they put on the YouTube or something. Yeah. And I have caught I no, I mean I have been caught doing that, and actually some people put it on the YouTube and stuff. And Ochiai, Ochiai is a bad guy, she he Ochiai insults women and stuff like that. Who gives a shit? Yeah, actually that kind of made me not famous, but people talk about me, and people become more interested in me, and people want to watch my videos and stuff. So that's kind of it's working. Uh, um, it's it's kind of working out for me actually. Yeah, but they are enemies. I don't look at them like human beings. Leftist, communist, they are not humans. They are not same. They are not the same as us. They are not human beings. I don't care if they are Japanese, if they are Asian, if they are white, black, green, purple. I don't care what kind of race they belong to. As long as they are communist, they're our enemies, and we have to dehumanize them because they are not human beings. And I insult them. That's the way I look at it, and that's how we should. And people in our crowd, or maybe I should say my crowd, we have this little group of people who uh, are who often get together and act and stuff. We don't belong. What's funny is we don't belong to any group. Actually, I don't belong to any group. I'm not a member of any group. So when people ask me, or when sometimes police asks me what kind of group I belong to, I said no group. Mm. There are many groups and stuff, but I don't belong to those groups because people in those groups always say that can give a bad impression. Yeah. So once you're in that kind of group, and maybe that's what happens. That if the leader says that you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that, and for example, like don't say this because and blah 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 blah. Yeah. So I don't say any racial slur. Um, I don't I don't call I don't talk about certain races. For example, like for example, for Japan. Okay, now let's say like okay, let's bring up one country here, Korea. South Korea and Japan are not good friends. We are not good friends, and Japanese are not welcome in South Korea, and South Koreans are not welcome in Japan. That's just a fact. Yeah, and um, again, but I don't. When I talk about Korea, I don't use the racial slurs. Yeah, there are many different reasons, but for example, I don't have to use racial slurs to talk shit about those people because I I try to create a vocabulary or expressions that will not that will not that don't have to be racist. Yeah. There's of course, I mean, we have racist words and stuff in Japanese, but I don't have to use those words. I don't have to use that vocab to express my anger and stuff. And the way I do it is I talk about the crimes that they commit in this country. Yeah. So I don't have to say that, for example, some people lose their mind and they say like, I want to kill you or whatever. I'm gonna kill, like this is something I can't say this on YouTube, but they say stuff like that, right? Yeah. Why would you want to say something like that? No. Instead, I talk about the crimes that they commit. I talk about the crimes that the communists commit. So I don't need to tell them what kind of things I will do to them. Yeah, because that could be a threat. That could be criminal. Yeah. So um, I don't need to talk about. Um, I mean, I don't need to tell them what I want to do to them. Instead, I talk about what they have done because there are so many crime cases, there are so many criminal cases that are about the communists and the Koreans. So I don't really need to use the hate speech, you know, according to their standard. Yeah, because it is, you can say that they are dumb people, they are stupid, they are our enemies. We don't have to say, we don't, um you know you can say that. If you say that, that's going to be hate speech. Yeah, I don't know why though, because it's they're all facts actually. Because they are dumb people. Yeah, they are. um they are not very smart. Yeah, and they, for I mean, I'm talking about communists. Yeah, communists, they're all dumb people, stupid. And they lose their mind, they get angry, and I tell them, hey, look what they're doing now. They're supposed to be pacifist. They're supposed to be pacifist, and that's what the pacifists do. They try to attack me violently. These pacifists are very violent. Yeah, and they kill lots of police officers and stuff. And oftentimes they will, they do not want to show up, at least in front of me, because I talk about them, I talk about their crimes. So, and I'm using the kind of violence in a way that I talk about I talk about how the communists killed police officers in front of the police officers who are allowed to commit violence. So in a way, I'm using the violence of the police force to fight the communists. And I'm uh, and when you do something like that, and you have to always keep it in your mind that you have to actually do violence. You have to commit violence. You have to remind yourself to use some kind of violence to fight the communists, not just to insult, not just to, no, I mean, not just to um to tell them you're like you want to. It is not a good idea to tell them that you want to kill them and stuff. I'm sure you want to do that, because they are like real hateful people. Mm. But you don't want to do that because it's going to be a threat and you can be arrested for it. I'm sure it's the same in the UK. Yeah, if you tell them that you want to kill the person, and that's going to be a threat, and you can be arrested. Same in Japan, same in Japan, same in the UK, I think. Yeah, but instead you can talk about them, and you make them feel uncomfortable in front of the police officers and stuff. Yeah, that's what I do. Yeah, and then I always try to remind myself to use some kind of some form of to fight them. Yeah, and it is very important that you do that. You have to do that, I think. And Sally, it sounds like Japan isn't as far gone as Europe. We have the media, the whole system against us here. Our own people think we are racist, and we are not. Yeah, basically that's mm, Japan isn't as far gone as Europe, right? Actually, I don't know. I don't know. I don't live in Europe, and I hear things are, some of the things are pretty bad and stuff, but I don't really know. But yeah, the media and stuff, yeah, they want to, basically, yeah, they want to. Uh, they're pretty much leftists actually in Japan too. Yeah, there's no rightist. There's no rightist media in Japan. Even the public broadcast, even the public broadcasting system is not. It's not even neutral. We have like TV stations like NHK and stuff. I know there are some communists in the TV station. Mm, yeah, yeah. And Sally, our courts and police are corrupt, and everything we do or say is surveilled and used against us. Aye, right. I feel the same way about the police in Japan. Actually, yeah. I mean, they everything we do, kind of works against us, but we try to do our best. Yeah. Bacon. White people are second-class citizens in the UK, and or for the police. Ochiai. But I, Bacon. Ochiai. Do your police use the Aikido dog? Akita dog? You're talking about dogs? Police dogs? Oh, I don't know. In Japan, you don't really see a police officer with the dogs. I mean, it's very rare, I think. Um, Personally, I have never seen. I only saw that on TV, so they do exist. Police dogs, police. You're talking about police dogs. Um, I haven't really seen police. I have never seen a police dog in my life, actually. Yeah, I have seen it on TV only, but it's very rare, I think. Yeah. Actually, I haven't really seen police with animals, any kind of animals. Achami-san, good morning. Yeah. So, I don't know. Are you even trying to use the police force? Yeah, because that's what I try to do. So when I speak, I don't know about the other members, or not even the members, other guys in your crowd. When they're doing it and they're not using the police. Yeah, my other guys are not using the police. Well, they were not. Now they are because they want to do. You know, they they thought that what I was doing was a good idea. Yeah, but before that, pretty much none of us was doing it. None of them was doing it. But I always thought that we should use some form of violence to um, to fight them because that's the most effective thing. Yeah. There's no reason that we should let them because the communists and the leftists, they always use violence. They use the police, they use their physical violence, they use the verbal violence. Mm, and there's no reason that we have to let them monopolize the effective weapons. And Sally, our police are not there for our people, but are you even trying to use that? Are you even trying to use that? Are you actually doing it? Because people in our crowd, even like my people, were saying the same thing. Police is always on the leftist side or something. But when you are there and when they are making lots of noise and stuff when we're doing speeches, they throw things sometimes. And but I talk about what kind of things the communists have done to the police officers, because they have killed police officers, many police officers actually. Yeah. And I talk about them. I talk about those criminal cases in front of police officers, and there are like hundreds of police officers there. And the atmosphere changes because the police are listening to my speech. Yeah. The police are actually listening to my talk, and that atmosphere changes because they can hear me too. Not only leftists, but the communists. No, I mean, n- the leftists, the communists are listening to me, but the police are also listening to my speech. And you know I'm talking about how the police officers are killed by the communists and stuff, and the police officers started to the atmosphere of the police officer, the crowd of the police officers actually change. Yeah, and the leftists can feel that, and they get uh, and they get scared. And Sally, when the communists attack us, even though they get arrested, they're let go. They're let go with no charge, right? That happens in Japan too, actually. Surprise, surprise. the police have literally led them to crowds. I've seen that. It was terrible. The one that I saw, actually, I've seen a couple, but the one that I saw was Tommy Robinson. Had a rally in one town in this residential area, and um, actually, that the police were escorting the Pakistanis. Pakistanis, I think they're from Pakistan. Pakistanis, and they went to the crowd. You know, Tommy Robinson was having this rally, and um, there are lots of his supporters, his British supporters were there, but those Pakistanis were throwing the rocks and stuff at the the crowd of the white people. Yeah, I feel terrible. I was so upset. I was so angry when I was watching it. It's like Jesus Christ. I wish I was there, and but I was, yeah. Yeah, I saw that. I think it was one of the the election campaigns that the Tommy was having. I don't know what kind of election that was, but yeah. I'm not aware of the communists killing any police here. Only Muslims, and they do get locked up, right? You might want to check it. Yeah. If you check it, I'm sure there are some cases, and you want to talk about them. Yeah. I saw that too, Ochiai, where nothing happened about the police in doing that or the Muslims throwing bricks. Right. Oh man, I saw, and it was many kids were there too, actually. Yeah. Yeah. You can talk about those crime cases instead of talking about, like, for example, like in Japan or maybe in the UK, getting rid of get, talking about getting rid of the immigrants is hate speech. Yeah. And if you do that too often, and they will not give you a permit to use the street. Yeah, maybe, I don't know, but so instead of getting instead of talking about getting rid of them, talk about, I um it might be a good idea to talk about the crimes that they have committed. Hmm. And uh they get locked up, right? Yeah. So it's okay to talk about them, but you're just talking about the facts. So that's what, because most people are not even trying, actually. I talk about it, like when I talk to my guys. Yeah, when I talk to my guys, let's talk about, like, in the crimes they have committed against the police officers, because police officers are there, and they are the only people who are allowed to commit violence. So they have the police has the police have the license to kill, so let's use their license. Yeah. But some of our guys, they say, no, but the police is on the leftist side or whatever. I mean, but they're not even trying, actually. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they haven't looked into it yet. But if you look into it, I'm sure there are some cases that actually the communists or there are some. I mean, when you think about it, that there are lots of the terrorists are communists. Yeah, and I'm sure they have killed a police or two. So so and that's one form of it. I mean, there are so many other things you can do, but that's one of the things, one of the many things that I do, and many other guys do nowadays. Yeah, they get locked up for killing police, right? They don't get locked up for raping British, killing British people, right? There are many cases that have been hidden by the police, right? And Sally, you saw that, and that it was what it is like here. The police enable this violence against the true British people, right? Yeah, it was. Yeah, is there are all kinds of activists and stuff in there talking about actually that was one of the topics I wanted to talk about, but yeah, I'm glad we got to that there. How we fight, actually, we talked about, and so many other things people in our crowd are doing, and we don't belong to any like named group. Yeah, I used to belong to a party called Japan First Party. The name says everything. But I left the party because the party says, or the party executives told me not to insult women, for example, not to insult the disturbers, or how do you call it, like a picketers or something. I forgot the English name word for it. People who come and disturb our speeches and stuff. I was insulting those people, and I thought it was very effective. But because I make fun of their appearances, and I insult their, you know, whatever. If I n- if I know their names, I check it on the internet, and I actually say their names. I actually say their names, and I check their school backgrounds, and I talk about their school backgrounds, what people say about him or her or whatever. I when I was doing that, and the party, Japan First Party executives told me not to do that because that can give a bad impression about the party. I'm thinking this is the reason that we're losing the war. We're losing this war here. Yeah, because as long as you worry about what newcomers may think of you, and you're gonna lose your fight because the enemies are in front of you. They don't give a shit about the newcomers or whatever, and you should not give a shit about that either. Yeah, bad impression. People may think ill of you. People may have bad wrong impression about you or whatever. As long as you worry about that, you won't lose your fight. Yeah, and that was the reason that Japan First Party was losing. Where Japan First Japan First Japan First Party was and still is losing their fight. They cannot win any election because they're not attractive. They're getting bullied when they do their rallies and stuff, and they the all the communists come and when they try to disturb their speeches and stuff, and what they say is, hey, ignore those people or whatever. No, don't ignore them. You have to attack them. You have to crush them. You have to win your fight. Yeah, the enemy is in front of you. Yeah, that's what I that's what I thought. That's what I thought, and that's why I left the party. That's one of the main reasons that I left the party, because and that's one of the main reasons that the many other members left the party, and they don't belong to any party. They don't belong to any group now. Mm. But we are like one group. So people in our crowd are like former Japan First Party members, but actually the maybe 80% or 80 or 90% of the members left the party already, and we are in the same crowd, and we have good communication amongst us, and we talk to each other all the time, and we talk about when or how we're going to do the next rally or speeches and stuff. But is none of us belongs to any group because we don't need to, because uh our crowd our crowd has no our crowd has no name, but we are bonded with trust. and we pretty much almost we pretty much believe in the same thing. Violence is the most effective way, and we have to use that. We have to consciously use that. Yeah, we have to consciously use that because violence is dangerous. Yeah, but very effective. So we don't talk about, often most of the time, like we don't talk about, reporting to the police or suing people, lawsuits, and so we don't talk about that because they are very dangerous, because they are violent. They are violent forces. But against our enemies, we talk about that, and we do that. Uh, some of us, I don't do this often, but some of us actually are suing some Korean groups, Chinese groups, Vietnamese groups, and the communist groups, and the teachers union, um, board of education, some cities and stuff. I'm not involved in lawsuits and stuff because I can't do it. Yeah. It would shock you to spend a month traveling around Britain. We are really in a bad predicament. Oh, okay. Mhm. Yeah, you guys are all telling me that you don't. I don't understand, right? Yeah, I'm sure that it's pretty scary to do, stuff. Yeah, but I don't know if you're, you know, because the country or like anything is made of or by people. Yeah, anything is made of or by people. So, you might want to try to touch the feelings of the people. Yeah, because I haven't really seen any other people doing it. Not even in my crowd. I mean, not many people were doing it. Yeah, the stuff that I was talking about. Yeah, so I think it is effective. Yeah, if you just go on the street and if you tell the immigrants to fuck off, and that's gonna be a hate speech, and they might arrest you. Yeah, that can happen in Japan too, actually. Yeah. um some people in my crowd, in our crowd, there are some people who went to jail like 5 or 6 times already for our activities and stuff, and they are not afraid of getting arrested. And I mean, they say the racial slurs all time, actually. Yeah, but I don't want to go to prison. I'm not, I don't, if possible, I want to stay away from that kind of stuff. Yeah. Mm. And there are all kinds of people. Yeah, there are all kinds of people, but mm, some of us, are seniors. For example, like we have guys like Aramaki Yasuhiko or like Nishimura Hitoshi. They went to prison like 3 or 4 times, or maybe 5 times, and they were arrested like more than like a dozen. Yeah, and those guys are not afraid of going to prison, and so they don't really care. Yeah, but I care, and the way I fight is not. Uh, yeah. So, and actually, the way I do things is actually hinted by what what uh, Mark Collett was saying. Mm. He was saying that the people who are bullied are sympathized, but they are not supported. Nobody wants to be friends. Nobody wants to make friends with the bullied. Yeah. Nobody wants to. Um, nobody wants to go out and, hey, I want to make friends with you. I want to support you. I want to root for you. I want to root for you. That will never happen. The bullied people who are getting kicked around and bullied, they're not. Um, um, they're not supported. People always like. People always like those who are standing up and trying to fight, even if that means they might have to go to they might have to go to prison. Yeah, I don't want to go again. I don't want to go to prison. Yeah, I have 7 kids. two are independent already. Yeah, but I have five other kids that I need to take care of. And I probably have like maybe 20 years to 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 I probably have 20 years to go. Up to they're going to be independent and stuff. Yeah. So I but Hmm. Yeah, I think you all want to tell me that you're in Japan, you don't understand. Europe is really bad nowadays. Britain, whatever. Like Muslims are really bad. I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. But are you even trying though? Yeah, yeah. When I talk to Americans, and they tell me the same thing. Japan is a peaceful country. Japan is a monoracial country. You don't understand. We have you know blacks and Hispanics and Eskimos and whatever Chinese mafia and Vietnamese mafia and whatever. They say stuff like that. But Japan is not the perfect place either. Yeah, and we have lots of we have a couple hundred. People talk about like it's kind of funny to see like some wrong statistics. It says that 98% of the Japanese people are racially Japanese or something. But that's wrong. Probably maybe 90%. 90% might be Japanese. Maybe 95, but it's not 98 though. Because Koreans, including the ones who are naturalized and stuff, they are about 4 to 5 million. Yeah, that's more than that. Like that's almost 4%. So already 4% of the Japanese citizens are Korean, ethnically Korean. And of course, we have Chinese who became naturalized as Japanese people and all that stuff. So maybe like 5 or 6% are not racially Japanese, even though they are Japanese citizens. Atani-san, good morning. So yeah, Streaky Bacon, Mark Collett, and Laura Towler are our last hope for any nationalist movement, a movement not influenced by foreign money, right? Yeah, Jews and the Chinese and Pakistanis and Indians and whatever. Yeah, I'm sure. Streaky Bacon, now Ochiai, a Pakistani woman MP, nearly got the few law through our parliament, making it illegal to talk about immigration. Oh, right. Um, really. So if you say anything against the not only the immigrants but the immigration itself, and it can be illegal. Is that what you're saying? Eh, Japan sounds like it is at the level that Britain was 20 years ago. People could still speak out then, not anymore. But you guys still speaking? Yeah. I mean, Mark Collett, Laura Towler, and you guys, and Sally and Streak Bacon, you guys are still speaking. You guys at the conference. Yeah. You could be arrested for speaking negatively about immigration in the UK, right? Yeah. Yes, that's how bad things are, right? There are jobs that there are jobs that white people are not allowed to apply for. Yeah, I heard about that. What kind of jobs? Like for example, like I was watching the iconoclast videos talking about like how like they want to prioritize uh the employment of Muslims, uh to have more police officers, that they want to um, it's easier for other races, like colored races, to be a police officer, to be a police officers and stuff. We have to be very careful with the exact words that we say, right? Authority or education. Oh, I see. Those are very important part, right? Mm. Pakistani woman prime minister. MP stands for prime. No. MP. What does MP stand for? I thought it was prime minister, but when I think about it, it's MP, not PM. MP. As a whole, the people of Britain turned their backs on their thousands of victims of the mostly Pakistani Muslims. Yeah. This shows you that our people just don't care enough to do anything, right? It is scary. That's for sure. Yeah. It is scary. It is I mean, yeah. Um some people have more balls to fight, and that some for example, like some of our guys, actually, as far as I know, there are about four guys who were arrested many times, actually. Yeah. And the guys, the names that I had named, I mentioned, and two other guys and stuff. So in total, four guys, yeah, and stuff. But I try to be more tactical. I try to be more strategic. Yeah, but it is scary though. That's for sure. Yeah, um, yeah, because Japan is one of the countries in Asia that really attracts immigrants. Mm. And of course, I mean, like, there are there are many different reasons that Europe is you know Europe has so many immigrants. You have the history of the gypsies, and you have the history of the Jews, and of course the Europe is very close to Africa, actually. Yeah, they can actually walk from Africa to Europe. Yeah, so. And Japan is an island country. Of course, I mean Britain is an island country too. Surprise, surprise, But Britain is an island country, but you guys have so many immigrants. Okay, now that's another thing I want to talk. That's another thing I wanted to talk about. Um, um, Britain, Britain's official language is English, and English is the most popular language in the world. Yeah, and most common language, and everybody learns English. So, um, especially for like Asians, like I don't like to say Asians because Japanese are Asian too. Actually, I am Asian, So stop saying Asians commit crimes and shit. I don't know. South Asians, yeah, South Asians, like I don't know, e- e- equatorial, equatorial Asians or something, because they are closer to the equator. Yeah, equator is here. Japan is up here. Japanese are Asians. People like when you British people talk about the crimes done by Asians, and that can give a wrong impression. That can give a bad impression about Japan. So you gotta stop to saying that kind of shit. It almost makes me laugh every time I see it. Like, when I go to what's his name, the Mood of the Nation, Chief Moody. Chief Moody's chat streaming and stuff, and people talk about Asians. Well, the Asian grooming gang or whatever. You know, Stop saying Asia, okay? because Japanese are Asian too, actually. That can give a bad impression on Japan, about Japan. So, what do you think of that? Anyway, so the Britain. I never say Asians. I name the country that people are from. Really, you're one of the very few people who do that. I think it's funny though. I'm sure when you guys talking about the Asian grooming gang, you're not talking about the Japanese people because we we don't do the kind of shit. Yeah, I think it's almost funny. I don't get offended, to be honest. Yeah, yeah. But it would be nice if you say South Asians, South Asians, not just Asian. Yeah, they blame Asians to link heinous crimes against the whole continent rather than to the people who that did them right. Yeah, I think it's fun, Yeah, but Asian is like holy shit in Asian. Asians raped women, Do Japanese? For a time, I was thinking like, do Japanese people go to Britain and rape women? I never heard of that. Anyway, of course they are like South Asians, other Asians. Yeah. Anyway, so of course, I mean what was I talking about? Yeah, um, the English language. Yeah, English language is the most popular language in the world, and it's easier for anybody. Asians, Africans, whatever, to move to the UK, even though the UK is an island country. Uh, so when I think about that, now Japanese is not a popular language because Japanese language is difficult. It's not the easy language to learn. I think grammar is very different, complicated, and we have um, Japanese language is far more complicated than most other languages in the world, even more complicated than Chinese or Vietnamese or whatever. Yeah, um, verb conjugations and stuff. Yeah, it is far more complicated than any European languages I hear and stuff. And so when people come to Japan, oh, let's talk about the immigrants to Japan. Ukrainians, Ukrainians they are like 97, little less than almost 100 Ukrainian refugees or like Ukrainians run away to Japan, but most of them want to go back to Ukraine already. Yeah, because the language is really hard and food is different and nobody really speaks English in this country either. They cannot communicate. So they want to go back to Ukraine. A lot of them, older people actually, younger people may adjust. They enjoy being here, but a lot of them, that's what I hear, which is very good news actually. They should not stay in this country. Yeah, move to somewhere where people speak English. Just kidding. Yeah. Ah, talking about the Asians and Pakistani and stuff. What do you think? What do you guys? I want to ask you guys. What do you think about um what's the girl's name that from Pakistan who got the Nobel Prize? I think she's a Nobel laureate. Malala, Malala Yousafzai. She's it's a girl from Pakistan, and she was shot in the head. She was shot in the head, and for that she got the Nobel Prize. If you get shot in the head and you get Nobel Prize. um, I don't know why she got shot in the head, but she was going to school and she was shot, and she was treated in the UK, Birmingham, and she has been in the UK ever since then, I think. Yeah, and she became like one of the most like influential women or whatever. What do you think about that? According to Wikipedia, she is a human right human rights activist and a feminist. Malala and Bacon. Now, for example, Ochiai, when they arrested 9 Pakistan men from Oxford for child rape. Oh shit, child rape. The media called them Oxford men. Oh, because they are naturalized. It goes on in every part of the country, right? Streaky Bacon. The Ukrainians being sent to the West are mostly Middle Eastern. Really? Really? The Ukrainians, but I thought they're fake Ukrainians. Bacon, another puppet for the globalists to make people feel sorry, right? Why did you decide to treat her in the UK? Not, I shouldn't say you. Why did they? I mean, there's so many hospitals in the world. Why wasn't she sent to the US, for example? I don't know if I should say this, but US has great hospitals. I mean, Japan has too, but you know, usually people don't come to Japan for whatever. People usually go to the US and stuff. But I don't know why she was chosen to go to the US, UK, Birmingham to be treated at hospital. I don't know why. And whatever this. Oh, fuck this. Strict bacon. Yes, we have loads of them draining our health service with operations from cousin marriage babies. Most they marry their cousins, right? Mm. I'm not saying that. I'm not gonna say it's always it always has like bad like effects on the gene thing, whatever. Like in Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know anybody personally. I don't know anybody who married their cousins and stuff. So, but it's kind of understandable because I have some attractive cousins. I have some beautiful cousins. So I never thought about marrying them, but there are some good looking people. Yeah. Our health service is a service to the rest of the third world. If you're going if you're going hospital, you will be lucky if anyone, patient or nurse, is English. I'm not kidding. Really? Oh, really? Oh, you mean a doctor? Oh, okay. Well, you wrote it down there. Anyone, patient or nurse, is English. Where are they from? They're from mostly from Asia, I'm just kidding. Pakistan or India or something. Maybe Africa. Because I don't know if you noticed. Maybe it's only me, but when I was the other day, I was watching. Oh, here we go. I was watching Mark Collett and Laura watch the TV show about the PA Patriotic Alternative. That this TV documentary, 20 minute, very very short actually. It finished really fast. 20-minute documentary on PA. Yeah, and when the Laura and the Laura and Mark were watching that, right? And they're making comments when they notice things. But what I noticed was something else. They had a TV commercial. TV commercial. The TV commercial. They're talking about the British things, I think, but there are many black people and Pakistan. I don't know where they're from, like Asia, South Asia, South Asians and Africans and stuff are on the TV commercials. I didn't really see white people in the TV commercials. That's one thing I noticed. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like TV commercials, in every country has TV commercials. But usually when you watch TV commercials in Japan, you see Japanese people. But when I was watching that, yeah, the TV commercials, they do. That's one thing I noticed. Maybe they're models, they are cheaper models. Maybe so. What I thought was those colored models are cheaper than the white models or something. That's what I thought. The TV commercials they had. No, Ochiai, the advertising agencies are run by a certain tribe of people who want to see our culture destroyed. Ochiai, the funny thing is, he was documentary featured a young man saying all the ads are mixed race. Yeah, I think he was saying something like that. Yeah, I'm remembering now. It went to the ass. He was he was proved right, right. Yeah, he was. I think something like that happened. Yeah, he was. I think it was pure coincidental, but I'm not sure. Yeah. It's been 2 hours now. We know that young man. He is a lovely lad called Barkley. Barkley, right, Barkley. He's the youngest member of the PA. Is that right? He's like he joined the party, or became he joined this active. He joined this how do you call this, like campaigns and stuff when he was 14 years old or something. And now he's a high school student, and he's one of the members, one of the youngest members in the PA or something like that, right? Group or something. Yes, that's Barkley Walsh, right? Mhm. Yeah, it looks like a smart, intelligent young man. Yeah, as long as you have people like that, and your future is, uh, I think your future is bright, because young people are the ones who are going to, you know, make things better. They're going to carry on, and they're gonna make them better. No, his parents aren't involved in PA. Really? Oh, okay. His father died. Really? Oh, okay. Oh, his dad died when he was a bit younger. Very sad. But his mother lets him join. Okay, here we go. So his mother lets him join. Maybe she's not a member, but she allowed him to join. Right? It's not the same as a grooming gang. Yeah. She's not with us herself, I believe. Okay, I see. Understandable. That means that his mother agrees with your activism and your, how do you say it, like ideology, or like you know your his involvement anyway. So she's on your side too. We have so much young talented man, eloquent and educated, right? Yeah, you have a lot. You have so many young talented men. Elo- I can pronounce. I know what that means though. But eloquent and educated, right? Mm. Yeah, your future is bright. Yeah, your it's interesting because in Japan we have some very young people who are involved in this kind of activities, and their parents actually let them do them. Their parents actually let them do that. Uh, I have 7 kids, and none of my children. Actually, one child, one daughter, is interested in this, but she's still in junior high school. She's only 14 years old, so I'm not gonna let her do that right now. But if she after she starts to go to high school, and maybe if she stays interested, and then maybe I let her do that. But I don't know if she goes that far. Yeah, I'm I'm 50 years old. Yeah, I'm 50 years old, 50, and um, I I joined I joined this kind of activism when I was about 28 or something. But you are a young man. Thank you very much. Yeah. Uh, Ochiai, please look at the col- color G. I can pronounce the word, but I think I know what that is. This color G, color G is half German, half Japanese, who promoted this like a mixed Germany or something or whatever because he's mixed himself or something. And Sally 50 would have never guessed that. Oh, thank you very much. I take it as a compliment. I'm 50 years old, and I've been doing this activism for like 23 years almost, but it was like on and off for 23 years. Hmm. Yeah, yeah, on and off for 23 years, so not all the way through. And because I had to work, I had children to feed and stuff. Yeah, so yeah, it was difficult to carry on. And I had a lot of actually I kind of quit for a few years, and I just concert I had to I wanted to concentrate on making money and stuff, which was a big mistake because I never did. Yeah. Chief Moody, Evening Troops, right? I'm going to end it very soon, actually. It's been 2 hours already. Yeah. Yeah. You should have come here a little bit earlier. How are you? How's it going, Chief? Yes, Richard, color G. Can't pronounce the goddamn name. How do you pronounce this fucking? It's a Hungarian word or something. I don't know what this is. Color, color guy, color gi. Haha, inshallah. Not too bad, thanks. I was too busy watching One Piece. Oh, I see. What the fuck? One Piece, really? I hope you're watching that in Japanese so you can learn some Japanese from that. Yeah. Inshallah. What the fuck? Oh, man. The Richard Kalaji, half Hungarian or Hungarian, and half Japanese. Really? Oh, I thought he was German. It was around the time of Nazi Germany, and he almost got kicked out of the. He was almost put in prison or something, or whatever. I don't know. My memory is kind of blurred, but yes, I heard about him. What he says is coming true, right? Kind of like a greater Europe or whatever. It's kind of like a Well, European Union. Oh, okay, I remember now. European Union is based on his idea. I thought, and I'm sorry, he was half Japanese. Seriously, and I felt very bad actually. Yeah, because this Japanese bitch married the Hungarian. man or German. I thought he was German, but um, this European man and this Japanese woman got married, and and he was half Japanese and stuff, and I don't know, like he came up, he came to this idea that we should have a European Union, shit like that, right? Yeah. If that wasn't for him, you know, it might it might not have been, or there might not have been European Union and stuff. I don't know, but and Sally, PA is a very good organization, right? We have many friends. We do good things within our communities, like pick up litter and feed the homeless. Really? Oh, okay. Pick up litter, feed the homeless. Really? I would have never, I would have never thought of that. Yeah. This is why Barkley's mother would agree to him joining. Oh, okay. Interesting. But actually, yeah, there are some guys, Japan First Party members who do that. Yeah, I don't know if they feed homeless, but they pick up litter. Yeah, yeah. He was half European and half Japanese, and it was his idea of creating this European Union thing or whatever. When I was a kid, again, I'm 50 years old, and when he um when I was a kid, uh it was EC, European Community, I think. Yeah, and now, and and much later it became like EU, European Union, right? Yeah. So it started as EEC, I think. Hmm? European Economic Community or something like that. EEC, and that was like maybe 10 years 10 years before my time. When I was in junior high school and high school, it was EC. That's the one that I learned. And yeah, later it was became EU and stuff. But so they did like step by step, I guess. And who was talking about that? I don't know why I came to know about this person here. Maybe the iconoclast was talking about it, or maybe, yeah. Maybe the iconoclast was talking about this guy, the Calergy. Yeah. Tani-san, only English today, right? ビール飲みながら聞いてんね。This person who just joined in, it's all written in Japanese here, or anyway, the name anyway. I think it's a woman, and she's drinking beer now, and listening to my talking and stuff. But it's 8 in the morning. 今朝の8時ですよね。ビールを飲むにはいい時間かもしれない。I think it's good time to drink beer. I'm sure it's 8 in the morning. Yeah. So that's Barkley's mother, right? Great kid. Yeah, we have some guys who are very young, and they are in this in they are in a crowd, and because they are young, and surprisingly, those guys are very intelligent. Very serious. They are not like thugs. They are not like tough type, but they're rather. I'm saying this is between you and I. This is between you and me. Okay. This is between you and me. Um, that some of those guys look very nerdy. Actually, they don't look like the kind of type that really that goes out and try to fight and stuff. Rather they're like a kind of nerdy type, but they really do fight on the street. Bacon. That's it. Right, right. You were talking about beer, right? Uh, Bacon, yes, it started out as a trade agreement, the EEC, right? Uh-huh. Then it became a monster of authority, right? It is interesting because they're not the elected officials or anything. They're just a bunch of bureaucrats, and they make decisions for like entire Europe. Ridiculous. And Sally, personally, I don't quite subscribe to the Kalagi plan philosophy that is described. Uh-huh. Um, I think the race mixing and importation of immigrants is far more sinister than that. Exactly, yeah. Mm. It is very um because people don't like people don't like to have like a now I wouldn't say people don't like to see other cultures or people don't like to have other cultures, uh but as long as it's a very very tiny minority, and it is okay, I think. But if there becomes a majority and it gets dirty, yeah, it becomes sinister. Yeah. And the Kalargi plan implies some sort of benevolence, as in everybody would get on if they were mixed race, right? Yeah, I understand what you mean. It's kind of like if there are different races and stuff, and the people can get along, yeah, which is wrong because if you look at the other countries, for example, like so many examples, but um, if you look at Africa, yeah, for us, all the Africans look the same, right? Pretty much, if you look at, for example, Nigeria or something. mm, if you look at Nigerian people, they all look like the same Africans. But for Nigerians, there are many different races. Mm. This tribe and this tribe hate each other, and this tribe and another tribe hates each other, and all those. There's so many tribes in Nigeria alone, and they kill each other, even though they look the same. So if you think about different races that look different from each other, and things are gonna be worse. Not could be. Things will be worse. I don't know why people don't notice that. Nigeria, or even Japanese and Koreans. I'm sure for you guys we look the same, but we don't like each other, and we notice certain things about the race because Koreans and Japanese are different races. Okay, and for you guys, we look the same. I'm sure. Even for us, we look the same. We don't notice until they open their mouth, or we don't notice until they say so. Then whatever, yeah. Because many Koreans are very fluent in Japanese, or they are born and raised in Japan, so their first language, their mother tongue is Japanese sometimes, even though they're Korean. But as long as they're Koreans, then they don't like us. Yeah, Chinese too. Yeah, whatever. And we look the same, and we don't like each other. If you look at Africa, Nigeria, Cameroon, you name it, any country in Africa, you know, one country has so many different races that hate each other, and they look the same. If they look different, and things are gonna be worse. That is why we're in different countries to begin with. Exactly, exactly. If we are all the same, we can be one country, right? Yeah. Bacon. There are two main tribes in Nigeria. Uh huh. I think it's Igbo and Edo or something like that, right? Yeah. Then they are split by religions also, right? Religions also, right? And now they are trying to make a law in the EU which will be superior to the nation's own laws. That's what happens. Actually, it is the how do you call it, treaty, the treaty, like an the promise between countries, two countries. It overrules the national in the laws inside the country. That's kind of like one of the rules, unwritten rules of uh of of the thing and stuff. Yeah, actually, uh that's the idea of creating laws and stuff. When I was studying to be a lawyer about almost 10 years ago, I was studying to be a no, more than 10 years, 15 years ago. I was studying to be a lawyer about 15 years ago. Yeah, that's one of the things I learned. Yeah, a treaty, the treaties, a treaty between you know between the countries overrules the laws, the laws inside the countries and stuff. Yeah, so you actually have to once you join some kind of treaty, you have to change the laws inside the country. That's the basic idea of having treaties. There's one tribe who want to rule the world, right? That's the one that you're talking about, right? Yeah, I know. um yes, we cannot get along, right? Exactly. For example, okay, let's say you're British people. You are British people, and most of it British people anyway. And let's say like you have people from France, many French people, millions, millions of French people moving to Britain. I think that can threaten your culture, well, your national identity and stuff. White French people moving to Britain, and of course, I mean, French people and British people look a bit different, from each other, and they speak different languages and stuff, and they, of course, they're gonna build their own community and stuff in Britain, right? Mhm. And that will threaten your national identity and stuff, even though you both are white people. Yeah, that's why Britain and France are two different countries. That's the way I look at it. And Sally, rulers do not like strong communities. They have been importing other peoples from around the world for centuries to break them up. I have even noticed it in the Bible. Really? Can you explain to me a little bit, because I'm not sure. Okay, I don't have any religion. I'm not atheist. I'm not atheist or anything. I'm not against religion. Yeah. Um and I will never say that God I will never say that God doesn't exist, whatever. I'm sure he exists somewhere, but I just don't have any religion. Yeah. But I grew up reading the Bible because I was going to Christian school and stuff. And maybe because I'm Japanese and I notice uh that I always felt this cultural differences between what is happening in Japan and what was happening in the Bible and stuff. Yeah. Um, it was difficult. I think it was. I think it is difficult for most Japanese people to have the, how do you call this, like common feeling, like mutual feeling with the what was happening in the Bible and stuff, because the culture is so different. And I thought it was the whole Bible was, how do you call this? Just so like far and away from like our daily life for the Japanese, and I think that's how most Japanese will feel about the Bible, because you are just so different. And it talks a lot about history and stuff, right? Yeah, it is very interesting. And I'm not a Christian, but I grew up reading the Bible, and I always thought it was very interesting and stuff. What am I saying here? Anyway, the racism, I saw lots of racism all over the Bible. Yeah, and some people are trying to fight the Bible, and I mean, some people are trying to fight racism and stuff, while other people use the racism to make profit or something. That's what I noticed when I was reading it. Maybe because I'm Japanese, I don't know. Chief, start off with the King George. Is that what it is? King John? King George. No, I forgot. King James. King James. King James version. NT. I don't know what the NT stands for. And anything you don't understand, look up the look up a Bible study on YouTube. Right. I will check it out. Right. Mhm. It's interesting though. Yeah. But I think one of that was one of the reasons that Japan doesn't really have Christians in this country. Um, amongst all it- amongst all most of the countries in the world, I think that I think Japan has the fewest. I think Japan has the fewest number of Christians in this country. Yeah, and actually, that Japan has so many like shrines, for example, to to worship the nature. Yeah, that's one of the reasons. And surprisingly, Japan doesn't really have any philosophers. So these are nation's characteristics. I don't know how you feel about this one here. I don't know how you feel about. I don't know what you think of this one here. This wrong, right or wrong, I don't know. But Japan doesn't. We don't really have philosophers. For example, like in Europe, always had great philosophers like Rousseau. You know, Socrates, for example, Plato, Plato, um, Aristotle, Machiavelli, Machiavelli. Europe has so many, like so many great philosophers. Japan practically has no philosopher. Yeah, it's surprising. Um, Japan has a very long history, right? Japan has a history of 2,600 years of kingdom, our empire, our imperial family and stuff. But we never really had a philosopher in this country, and we never really had a religion in this country. I mean, we had Buddhism and stuff, but it was imported from India and stuff. But we Japan always had Japan always had shrines, that the Shintoism. I don't know if you know, but Japan always has Shintoism that worships the nature. So I guess Japanese people didn't really need it. Japanese people didn't really need the religions to tell you how to live, because um, the Shintoism, the shrines. Typically, like about. I think you heard about Yasukuni Shrine and stuff, but Yasukuni Shrine is a different type of shrine, though. But anyway, the shrine, Japanese shrines pretty much worship like on um, fire, the sun, the moon, the all kinds of things. Actually, river, water, um, rice, animals, even insects sometimes. All kinds of stuff. Depending on which shrine you go to, and the each shrine worships different things, and there are some um, in Japan, like there are some shrines that worship uh, men's private part or women's private parts. What women's private parts and stuff. So what happened? What kind of people go there, right? It's mostly women who want to get pregnant, or it's mostly women who want to get married or looking for boyfriends, or uh, who women who want their boyfriends to propose to them or something. That kind of women go to those places. And of course, sometimes, like, like if they have a sickness, or like if they a problem with their private parts, um then they go to the kind of shrines sometimes. So in Japanese shrines, you know they're all those shrines have are for like everything, um every walk of life, actually. We have those things, so we didn't really need philosophers in this country, I think. And we didn't really need religions in this country. That's why the religion is not the big thing in Japan. And maybe that's one of the reasons that the Jews couldn't really come to Japan. I'm sure they tried many times, but they couldn't do it because we already have this kind of like a animism, kind of like a, you know worshiping nature and stuff. Yeah, animism. Did I say it correctly? Animism, kind of like worshiping nature and stuff. Yeah, that's the most common religion, if you call it, in this country. But I don't think it's a religion because they don't really teach anything. They don't really Shintoism doesn't tell you how to live. It just worships the nature. So it is kind of telling you to to treat the nature with respect or something like that. Shinto, you follow Ochiai? It's just part of our life. I don't really worship, I don't. It's just part of our life. So we don't really have to go there to, like people go to a church or something. People go to a church like every Sunday or whatever. Some people anyway. Um, or people go to a mosque or whatever. We don't treat the shrine like that. The shrine's there, and it's just there. And we go there sometimes when we feel like it. Yeah. So yeah, Shintoism. I would love to spend a month in Japan. Absolutely fascinating. Right, right. I think that's one of the things that make the Japanese people so different from other countries, especially in Asia. Yeah, yeah. Because other Asian countries are mostly Buddhism, Buddhist, or um, Buddhist or Christian. For example, Philippines. The Philippines is a Christian country, and um, Korea has a lot of Christians. China actually has a lot of Christians, and Thailand and Myanmar, those countries are Buddhist countries, and Malaysia, Indonesia, Bangladesh, Pakistan, those Asian countries, Asian countries are Muslim countries. Yeah. So, but Japan doesn't really have. We don't really have a religion. I say some people disagree with my idea. Some Japanese people say that no, we do have religions or whatever. But in my opinion, in my impression, we don't. Japan doesn't really have, because I don't think Shintoism is a religion. It's just a way of life, and that's enough for us. Yeah. We just want to follow the nature. We just want to respect the nature, and that's all we need, and that's what the shrines are for. Shinto shrines for the nature. Yeah, yeah. Uh, I think you are the country with the highest IQ. Really, some people say stuff like that. Yeah, that's interesting though. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I take we take it as a um, I take it as a compliment, right? Chief Moody, great stream, Ochiai. See you later. Oh, you're leaving now? I'm going to finish very soon, actually. Yeah. And Sally, I haven't met many Japanese people in my life, but those I have, I really liked. Oh, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. Yeah. I would like to be one of those people.